Doesn't make any sense for somebody to invest huge amount on a city, spend 5 crore on an apartment and pay EMI for next 20 years, get stuck there. By the time you're retiring, you'll not feel like going anywhere and you would have lost connection with your roots. You'll not believe, I think when I was in Bangalore for between 2014 to 17, I don't remember how many days I would have had lunch in a week. I would skip the lunch most of the times, and that had hurt my gut and my overall health was screwed up. As in, if you see, my walk on a regular weekday is 10,000 steps minimum. On a weekend it will be 20,000 steps. But when I'm outside the city, it would never cross 4,000 steps. So all I've put together, I think would have invested over $1 million. But it's easily worth almost 2x. I took an empty plot at probably 30% of the actual price of a regular full-fledged estate, right? And the moment you put a fence and get a bowel and plant regular coffee or any timber or anything, immediately in 1 year your land value is up by 30-40%.
It's basically a comparison between a 5 BHK flat in Bangalore versus a 30-acre property that you're enjoying.
It's exactly the same thing. Even now, if you just leave everything with whatever and with just the fishery and the farm, I think I can even retire today with the same comfort.
So you started, investing your money on this farm in 2019, right? So what I would want to know is how much did you invest and how much it is worth right now?
33 acre was ancestral. All 27 we bought. So would have spent approximately 4 to 5 CR on just land. And I think remaining on construction, obviously. So we have, unlike most farmhouses where you can actually have a very subtle, simple farmhouse, we wanted to not compromise on the comfort what we had in a city. So we have built 2 villas, the villas what you're seeing here, and there is another villa with 4 rooms, guest house, basically. So with all that in place, so we would have spent around another 4 to 5 crores. So I think I can say under $1 million is what we spent here, and some support from the family. Both our parents, their retirement money, they've helped us a bit as well to do. But I think put together, me, my wife, our parents, her parents, so all I've put together, I think would have invested over $1 million. But it's easily worth almost 2x in last 3 years.
Yeah, so if you were to, let's say, put it out and you want to sell this, so
I can easily sell it at 25.
Okay.
So I can say it's doubled or tripled in last 3 years. The difficult part is getting the infrastructure. So we bought initially a 25 kilowatt power transmission here. Then now we have 100 kVA. So we are getting a 25 kilowatt solar panel. We're just making infrastructure for that now. Then we have 2 bore wells. We have made a huge, I think the biggest investment was the pond. So we made a almost 1.5 acre man-made pond where you can actually put a lot of fishes. Right now, we're not doing aquaculture or anything right now formally. Last 2 years, we were also learning. We have some 1 lakh fishes right now. So you can scale up to 10 lakh fishes. And I think fisheries are very profitable, I think. So
Right. So if let's say in long term, because obviously, Shed, in the short term, you can't expect much from farming because it takes time. But let's suppose, with your lake, with your coffee plantations and everything, and your coconut plantation and everything, how much do you think, 5 to 10 years down the line, how much you would be earning on a
5 to
monthly
10 years will
basis?
be very good because coconut will have its yield, my coffee will be in its prime. So if 5 years from now, I think easily 1 CR to 1.5 CR just from the estate. Put together farm, I can't even, if you really commercially do it, in a year you can make 50 lakh to 1 crore just from the pond because that's a huge pond. But put together, I think I can retire comfortably. Even now, if I just leave everything with whatever and with just the fishery and the farm, I think I can even retire today with the same comfort what I have. I think that is sorted. So, but I think in 5 years from now, I think even if you do a good job, decent job in farm plus the fishery, you can easily make 2 CR with 30 acres.
If you go on YouTube today and you find, in the case of people who are looking for early retirement, they dream of these big farmhouses that they want to spend their time on, right? But people usually don't know how to approach it, right? And you have been doing this for quite a while now. So can you walk me through, number one, the vision behind this farmhouse, right, that you've built, and what are the economics involved behind building this farmhouse?
See, as fancy as it sounds, owning a farmhouse, if you're just expecting return in terms of the yield just coming from the crop, with the current land prices, it is not practical. Say example, if whatever we have invested, so recently we bought a 10 acre land, say example, a decent 15 lakh per acre, it is almost 1.5 CR. If you have to put coffee in it, grow it for 3 years, get your first crop, wait for another 2 years to get actual crop, and then want to make money out of it, it will take you 20 years. So if you're just doing that, it is not practical. But I'm not demotivating it, but I think that's the fact. But I think you can optimize it further. Like example, by having a small guest house, you make it to Airbnb, and that's when things start moving upwards, right? You can't just rely on the farming. So because it has its challenges. Imagine you buy a empty land. If you buy a good farm which is already running, then it is good, but it is expensive. It is almost 2 to 3 times more expensive. That doesn't make any sense to pay such big money for something which is there, and you will not be able to spend full time because you're not an expert, you're not a farmer. Unless you know farming really well, it doesn't make sense to go and put 5 crore on a existing farm and waiting for the return. It will never happen. So what I would suggest is, say, what I did is I took an empty plot at probably 30% of the actual price of a regular full-fledged estate, right? And the moment you put a fence and get a bowel and plant a regular coffee or any timber or anything, and immediately in 1 year your land value is up by 30-40%. And immediately if you want to sell and exit, you're already making 30-40%. So that's how you can make money, number one. So because empty land versus one with the infrastructure, the cost is different. Like if you're paying 15 lakh for an empty plot, the moment you put a fence, water, everything, it goes to 20-25. Then after 5 years, if it starts giving yield and then you sell it, it probably will go at 50 lakh. So if you're exiting, then that's when you make money. But if you want to stay put on, like you want to have your retirement life here, then probably you need to go bit of a commercial crops. So what we have done, coffee is a very labor intensive crop. It is not easy to grow. So but tomorrow if I want to make a experiential farming experience for people who visit, after, imagine if I convert into Airbnb and people want to do an experience of the coffee world, then there is a 2 acre Arabica, 2 acre Robusta, variants of coffees. We have it. Then remaining thing, wherever we get a place, without abstracting the views and stuff, we put coconut. Coconut is almost an inexpensive crop. You just plant it, put water, just maintain it with water across in summers, and you're done. After 5-6 years, probably you'll start seeing the crop. 200 to 250 coconut, coconut farm, coconuts in your farm. It can sustain the whole farm. Labor and all the expenses, it can cover it up. So, and the other thing what we have done is we put some commercial crops, like we have avocados, we have some expensive nuts, we have macadamia, we have mangosteen, we have some dry fruit plants, like we have fig, we have a lot of lemon and citrus fruits, because lemon is something which is of high demand and government is also pushing that. And otherwise, a lot of fruits and something what you can consume on a regular. We have a lot of guava or mangoes and seasonal fruits, papaya. So at least 50% of the fruits we still buy from market. At least 50% of it we have from our own farm. So while you're not saving much, but imagine it's organic and there's a higher perceived value for what you're growing. So you can comp off bit on that. And I think land value is also growing. When I was in my engineering, per acre land, empty land used to cost 2 lakh, and a good estate would cost me 5 to 6 lakh. Now in just 15 years, it is tripled or 4 times higher. So I think the land value also is going high. And whenever you have an emergency, you can sell a part of it.
And you also mentioned, about what I can see that you have a BMW iX car, right? So, does it make sense because, you're living in this remote area, right? I understand you have a bit of travel, traveling back and forth with Bangalore down here, right? So, why did you make that decision that, you wanted to get such an expensive EV car? Because a lot of the debate right now is that economics wise, it still doesn't make sense, right? And that too, you have bought one very luxury one, right? So, what's your vision behind this?
See, two things. One, we wanted to take the benefit of the subsidy what we get, which is no tax, right? So, imagine I had a budget to buy a 1 CR car. I had to take a X3 or a X5, and the actual value of the car is 70 lakh or something, and you're paying almost 30-40 tax. So, the actual perceived value is higher, but actual value of the product is much lower than what you're paying when you buy a IC, right? But with this car, so I think 1.24 to 1.3 is something which we paid. With no tax, right? There's a benefit you're getting, and you're actually getting the entire value of that car. While it's still expensive compared to what you buy the same car in US because you're importing it, but still you're not paying that additional tax. You're getting actually higher value at the same price. Now, that was number one. Number two, I travel once every week from my farm to Bangalore. It's 220 kilometers. This gives me 400 range. I go to Bangalore. I park my car where there's a charger. I finish my work. I come back on the same day or next day. So usually I used to spend around 6,000 to 7,000 for diesel on my Jetta, or if I take a Innova. Now on this, it's like I'm not even spending 2,000 rupees. Particularly if I charge at home, the outside charges are usually expensive. If I charge fully at home, you're going and coming back at lesser than a bus price at a luxury car. Second, third, what I also see is, you'll not believe, my last BMW, I actually paid gain, a tax on the gain, because I bought a car, and the value, when I bought a test drive car, so I saved 10 lakh on my actual value. So when I sold it, I just sold at 5 lakh lesser, but I had claimed the last 5 years, I claimed depreciation, so literally I made profit on selling the car. So with that, with tax, the same car would be costing 2 cr or 1.8 to 2 cr. Even if I sell it at half the price, I'll be still, after depreciation everything, I'll be still making profit. So I don't think, for my utility, it is no more it's not a depreciating asset. I'm getting the comfort, it's safety at highest, and I'm also not polluting, because being in a farmhouse, okay, I'm saying, okay, go green, whatever, and if I'm going in a diesel car to and fro to Bangalore every week, that you're contradicting it. And because this is the first all electric car from BMW, it will have its antique value. I don't know, probably I might not sell it ever, I might just keep it for its antique value. So that was the rationale.
Right,
uh,
right. Because you have been someone who has been able to chase, I would say, the next Indian dream. So there was used to be a comparison of, the great American dream. But a lot of people now want to retire early. They want to spend time with their family as much, especially after the COVID pandemic has hit. That is the lifestyle that they want to achieve, right? And now, because you've achieved that, how do you see wealth creation in your life? Like, what's the purpose, that you see behind wealth creation, and what does it mean to you?
See, for me, wealth is, wealth or investment has to be, I think, to call it as an investment, it has to be, it should not be giving you headaches. Imagine you have put a 1 crore or a 5 crore equity investment on a stocks, and every day you are nervous that it might go down. I don't think that is an investment. The whole money what we have put here was supposed to be our apartment, the money which was kept aside to buy a 4 BHK or a 5 BHK in Bangalore. The 5 CR we had saved during
So it's
2018. Okay.
basically a comparison between a 5 BHK flat in Bangalore versus
Yeah.
a 30-acre
Yeah.
property that you're
It's
enjoying
exactly
here.
the same thing.
Yeah.
You are even in Mumbai, you buy a 3 BHK, it's the same price. Imagine a 3 BHK in Mumbai versus a whole 30-acre plus farmhouse, which is also giving you yield and is also growing at much higher pace. That's the only difference. I think otherwise you've not done anything. I can say the wealth creation here, as I said, the farm probably next 1 to 2 years it will be giving 5 to 10% yield on the investment. Plus, it's also appreciating. I'm also having a lifestyle here. Even my whole, like, example, you can't have a good family time or a friend time when you're out. Like, you go to a mall or you go to a pub or a club or a restaurant. You can't have that intimate moments with your loved ones. But when you have your own farmhouse, it's much more easier. You're spending a whole evening with them, cooking. Cooking yourself and feeding them. That's a different kind of happiness.
So a lot of people who kind of aspire for this farmhouse life, they would also want to know, like, what's the monthly maintenance expenses that you make on this farm. So
Okay.
if you could share about that.
So average, I think, for a 30-acre farm, so I think we're spending around a lakh a month approximately across. You'll be cutting grass, and because we're also maintaining it good. If it's just like a farm, you will not be spending so much, because we're also grooming and keeping the lawns and stuff. So it's a bit expensive. So that usually, if you just have two staff, a family, 3 people usually, say, a couple and one guy. I think 3 people. If you're maintaining a 5 to 10 acre farm, 3 people are more than enough.
Obviously, your family used to live in Bangalore earlier, then you shifted here during the pandemic. Now that you have spent almost 3-4 years on
Yeah.
this farm, uh, when you guys wake up in the morning, like, what do you enjoy about this, about this entire journey
Right.
that you've been through on this farm, and what's it's like for you,
Right.
like the comparison
So
with
if I just tell you
Bangalore?
the routine, I think you will understand. I think you can see why we have moved here. So we wake up at 6:30. Our kids get ready to school. So me and my wife, we both, like, I help in her preparing kids, and she helps the chef in cooking what and packing their lunch and all. At 8, the bus comes here. Once they're gone, 8 to 9, we do basic walk, look around the farm, sometime like pluck a fruit or something, and just assign the work to the workers at the farm. So just take a WhatsApp message, just message them that, okay, you need this week you need to water the plants here, or you need to clean up the area near the pond. So these are the things we just assign the works, and 9 o'clock we come back, some basic workout, have a good breakfast for 30 minutes, which we never used to have in Bangalore, because 9:30 clock is ticking and your estimated time keeps fluctuating so much. You have to leave 15 minutes early. So now peacefully 30 minutes, nobody disturbs us, have a good meal, first meal of the day. Then at 9:30 to 10, you just come and organize your room and make sure you're ready for work. At 10, we start work sharp. So from 10 until 1:30, nobody disturbs us, non-stop work. My wife sits in a room, I sit in a room, we work, we take all the calls, assign works. And 1:30 sharp, because my dad comes for lunch, and I think that's the luxury what I was telling about, having every day having lunch or dinner with your parents. I think that's something which is invaluable. So because he has to have in time, I am forced to shut all my work and just go and sit have lunch. And you'll not believe, I think when I was in Bangalore from between 2000 say 14 to 17, I don't remember how many days I would have had lunch in a week. I would skip the lunch most of the times, and that had hurt my gut, and my overall health was screwed up. Now I think my cycle, my food cycle, everything is in place. So I eat properly and I come, I take a good 15 minutes rest. I just watch some YouTube videos between after my lunch to till 3:30. I can't focus on work, so you have a heavy lunch. Then at 4 again, start your second shift of the day, non-stop till 6, 2 hours, very focused work. Then 6 to 7, we go out for a walk. Again, take a walk around the lake, around the coffee plantation. You completely chill at that time, and kids come back from school at 5:30. So spend some time with them, quality time, play with them till 7. We do all that, wrap it up. At 7, they start reading their homeworks and stuff. We again get back to work, and 7 to 8. So we do, and around before 8, usually I try to also finish dinner before I play time. Like before 7, I try to finish my dinner, and after 8 again I sit on a focused work session until 11. All my US clients, my other time zones, I try to manage my time there. Till 11 you work, then I sleep. So, and because you get so much fresh air, you don't feel like sleeping for 8 hours. I think at 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours sleep, you feel you are completely fresh and start the day again. Really loving it. And on weekend, we completely, if there's work, we do the work. Otherwise, the routine is very simple. There are 3 dogs. So you take them for a bath, you take them for a swim, you put them on the pool, play with them. I think have too much walk. As in, if you see my walk on a regular weekday is 10,000 steps minimum. On a weekend, it will be 20,000 steps. But when I'm outside the city, I'm in a city, or when I'm in Dubai, wherever it is, it would never cross 4,000 steps. So I think that itself is an indicator that, okay, I'm active, and even my relaxing, my watch throws me notification when I'm in Dubai, again back here, it shows that your heart rate has varied. That's a very clear, my relaxing time is better here. My relaxing time is much almost 10 points higher when I'm outside. So I think the data also shows that we are more relaxed and more active and more healthy when I'm here. But sometimes because of work, we travel and come back.
Because you have been part of that ecosystem of the startup ecosystem and people who generally live in these big metro cities, right? And you know what their life is, right? Obviously, we can't deny that we need that for growth in our life,
Yeah.
right? So what would you tell them as to what they should do in their lives going forward?
Imagine you're in your fifth year of your career and you're making decent 2 lakh a month. If you have a clear vision that, okay, someday I'll have to go home, then you will plan and do everything accordingly. Probably when you marry, then you'll set expectation to your wife also that after 5 years I want to go to my hometown, whatever it is. I think first, you should start with the thinking process on what you want to do with your life, because it doesn't make any sense for somebody to invest huge amount on a city, spend 5 crore on an apartment and pay EMI for next 20 years, get stuck there. By the time you're retiring, you'll not feel like going anywhere, and you would have lost connection with your roots. You left your city for 10, 15 years, 20 years, 35 years. You will have nobody whom you can recognize back at your hometown. At least to start with, I think have some basic connect at your roots. What I'm gaining by being in a city. Okay, if you're earning 24/7, you want to make $1 billion, it's good. You do whatever you want. But if you want peace in life and you want to have a good time with your family once you retire, or spend more time with your kids and be less stressful and probably not have diabetes and hypertension, so it is better start planning your thing early. I planned it for almost 7 years. I was fighting for reverse migration. People want to go back to should come back to city from my college days. Then because of obvious business requirement, I had to go out. By 2017 is when we started developing our first 3-acre farm. 2019 we had roads. By 2020, I had electricity. It took me 5 years to get electricity to my place, and then it took 3 to 4 years to construct whatever we have constructed. So it's a long game. I think and you don't need to dump, like in real estate, you need to dump a pile of money to build something. Here it is a small investment, one at a time. 1 year buy a 1 acre farm. Next year build a borewell. Next year build a fence. It's not running away anywhere. And slowly you're building that value creation for yourself, the community around you, and I'll tell you, your parents will be more proud and happy if you are actually.
Yeah, and more than anything, what I feel from your journey is that people can actually afford that. It's
Yeah.
not that you need a
Yeah.
very high level income to do
Yes.
this, because land prices anywhere are so cheap.
It's very
right?
less.
The labor is cheap and everything.
Yeah.
That you can make it sustainable. Here.
Yes. And
Right.
cities are no more far away. You have good roads. I think 5 years back I would have said it is very difficult to travel. Now there are beautiful roads everywhere. And there's internet everywhere. Even in the smallest city, I get 5G. I have my own tower here. I get 100 MB speed being in a village. It was not possible 5 years back. If even I wanted to, it was not ready. But now it is, the ecosystem is ready. I'm still a big promoter of asking people to go back to their roots. I think your city needs you, like where you grew, where you had your schooling. The moment you go back, you will start investing. People will get more educated, and people will also see more ambition from you. Okay, and you will inspire 10 other people. I think that will have a huge impact on the, I think, whole society and economy. So I think that is something which I am talking everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Suhas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for this.